Welcome back, everyone. It is the 12 Talk podcast. My name's Josh, and wait for it. Yes, right way. This here is my podcasting partner in crime, Mitch. Mitch, how you doing, dude? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, really good week actually. Feeling really good. Really excited for this chat with the Seahawks fan of the year.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. We were put in contact with so just to let everyone know. So we have Jonathan Ratzel on our podcast today. He is a German Seahawker, and he was the Seahawks International Fan of the Year. He got sent off to the NFL draft at Green Bay, had a whale of a time. We're going to be talking to him all about that. We're going to talk to him about the process of becoming the International Fan of the Year, his whole experience, how the draft was for him. We're going to start talking about how he thinks the Seahawks will be in 2025. And after that, we've also got the first use of the German Seahawkers roster builder, haven't we? If you want to try the roster builder, the link is down below, as well as all the links on how to help the show out, whether that's buying us a coffee or anything else. And there's also links to things like joining the UK Seahawkers. If you want to be a card-carrying member of the UK Seahawkers, like myself and Mitch, as the official podcast of the UK Seahawkers, you can. All you need to do is send £12 for an individual or £20 for a family of four to it's UK Seahawks fans or UK Hawks fans 12 at hotmail.com. I will get it right properly one time. And you do that through PayPal. Just add your address and you will get given the goodies will be sent to you, which we'll show you in a second. But you also got access to social events, 10% off at the pro shop. You might be eligible for game day field passes, access to members only competitions, and much, much more. By way of the goodies this year, we got a customary wristband. You get 2 coasters. You get our 21st year anniversary patch and your membership card. Isn't that right, Luke Mitchell?
Yes, it is. Look at that lovely brown box.
Your box is always on display, Mitch. What can I say?
It always gets comments, man.
It does. Oh, it's a fabulous looking box, sir. And you could be one of this handsome lot, as well as many, many more that are members of the UK Seahawkers. You can join us at our next Seahawks meetup. And we may have a watch party up our sleeve as well, but that's something that we need to finalise. Now, we're also very proud promoters, I suppose, of and what would be the best way to put this? So we represent and we support the Robbing Cancer Trust. We have done since the inception of this pod, and it's something we're very, very passionate about. The man you will see here dressed as a giant ball bag, this is Toby. Toby currently is running 500k, I will get it right, with one goal, that's to save lives and to sort of generate £240,000 worth of donations to help with life-saving cancer not treatments, because they're not a hospital. I'm having a mare today. Life-saving testicular and ovarian cancer awareness campaigns. There we go. So he's running the 500k. He has currently done the London Marathon, the Brighton Half Marathon, Colchester Half Marathon, and he's about to run the full length of Hadrian's Wall. That's 90 miles in 3 days. He is going balls to the wall. And if you want to click on the link down below to the Robbing Cancer Trust, you can also track Toby's giant pair of balls as they run across Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, people track birds, people track planes. Why not balls for a good cause?
I'm sure there are people out there tracking balls.
Well, there you go. There's got to be. Well, rather than tracking balls, should we get to talking about balls, American footballs, more than anything else? We're going to hit the theme music. We are also then going to bring in our very special guest, Jonathan. So stick with us. We will be here in the next minute. Or before. There you go. Sorry, like I said, it's all going wrong today. It is that podcast. So welcome aboard, Jonathan. We're all in the building now. So thank you so much for coming on. This is a massive thing. Now, one of our previous guests and main contributors, Jonas Meister, put us in contact. And I think your story is fantastic. So before we get into this, do you want to give us a bit of background about you? Why are you a Seahawks fan, sir?
First of all, it's a pleasure and a great honor being with you today here. For me, this is what is football about. Football is family, football is friendship, and football is connecting people. So right now I'm in Germany, you in the UK. We're just talking about the thing we love, and it will be a great time. Thank you for having me.
No, absolute
Welcome.
pleasure.
So
Go. So tell us, Seahawks.
yeah,
What started the love?
it's the greatest team in the world. So obviously I had to be a Seahawks fan. No, I'm a Seahawks fan since 2011, since the world famous Beastquake run. It was the first football game, first football play eventually I've seen in my entire life, and it hit me like a truck. I was there watching football. It was early in the morning. I was just zapping around TV, and then I saw a black dude throwing grown man around the field, and it was like love at first sight.
That is one of those moments. I think a lot of people fell in love with the Seahawks. It's iconic players and iconic players like that really make this franchise what it is. So usually we go through a little bit of Seahawks news to start with, Jonathan. Shall we start with the big one that's dropped today? And this is more speculation, a bit of hyperbole. The Green Bay Packers have released Zaire Alexander. Now, we have had a lot of talk about various cornerbacks, veterans that we could sign. Could Zaire Alexander be on the cards? And every time I put these questions out, Jonathan, as the guest, you get to go first with your opinion.
He's obviously one of the better or good cornerbacks in the league. And if we think back, what made the Seahawks great back then when they won the Super Bowl, it was like the Legion of Boom. It was like a good defense up front and a great defensive back core. So when we get him, and obviously we have like the money, the cap space to get him, why not? When we have like good safeties with Julian Love and Nick Emenwari now, and like pretty good cornerback with like Jair Alexander, I think we have a shot for a Super Bowl.
I love the optimism. Mitch?
Nice. Yeah, I like it. I think we've been saying for a while that whoever we add in free agency at corner, because I think we will or will trade for someone, it wants to be a veteran to bring into this room. We've got the money to do it. My only concern is with the locker room stuff that people say that he can be a bad apple or a bad, So if you want to bring in a veteran to add to that room, I don't necessarily want it to be someone who upsets the whatever you want to call it, really. But that's the only drawback. If we're looking to add a player of extreme quality and experience, he's right up there. He's now the number one free agent at that position in terms of quality and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Mike Mack's, leadership and straight talking is the right thing to get the last sort of 3-year contract of his career done in the right way. Leading the younger players. That's my only drawback with it, really. Otherwise, in terms of quality, I think he comes in and starts and makes us extremely good on that side wherever you put him, and it'll put the ball in Devon Witherspoon's area a lot more because people don't throw at Jair Alexander. So
for a very simple reason, it's going to be an incompletion or an interception. I'm with you. It's my reservations would be exactly the same. It's the same as what I had about the whole Jalen Ramsey talk. He's known for being a bit of a diva and upsetting the locker room with those antics. And I think when you look at the OTAs that have just happened and the fact that we had 89 out of the 90 men on the roster there, at one point, I think Hankins arrived, but he was the only person that we didn't really see anything of. But everyone else was there. People like Zaire Alexander or a Jalen Ramsey, I can imagine going, no. And that is not the example that we want setting to the rest of the young players in this squad. So it'd be interesting, and it'd be very much a matter of, does Mike McDonald think he could tame him enough? But I don't know. I'd still like to see Shaq Griffin come back. To be honest, I think he's a steady hand. He's not going to break the bank. He knows the city. He knows the team, and I'd rather not have someone upset the apple cart. So that's the main bit of free agency news. And then, Mitch, we cut a wide receiver, and we signed another tight end.
Yeah, we did. We cut a wide receiver that we took in free agency from North Carolina, who'd also played at Georgia Tech. That was Nate McCollum. Not an overly impressive amount of production. I mean, his best season was a 655-yard season for Georgia Tech, where he scored 3 touchdowns. Looks quite a durable player. Played most games in college. Didn't have any long injuries or anything. But we expect this to be a smaller wide receiver group this year, maybe 5 on the roster. And there's a lot of players like Cody White, Ricky White III, who's battling for a roster spot as well. He might be on the bubble. Jake Bobo is in this wide receiver room and may even not make it. So it makes sense if you're trying to make space on the roster that maybe a wide receiver is the one to go if you're fairly sure that you've got 7 or 8 competitive wide receivers already. Which leads me on to who we did sign, who is an intriguing prospect, right? We signed Mitch Van Vuren. So I already love the guy. Come on. Mitch's boy, Mitch Van Vuren, who is an intriguing prospect, right? This guy ran the NCAA record 400-meter hurdle. So anytime you've got a 6'6" monster of a tight end that is outrunning and out jumping prime athletes for NCAA titles, that projects as a really interesting, overly athletic tight end at a time where we're probably looking to find some toolbox pieces to play the fullback role, to add to what we've got with the field stretching tight ends. It's interesting, even if we don't think he makes the roster. It's going to make for a really interesting training camp having a guy like that. So we've done away with one wide receiver. We've brought in a guy who's got some really interesting upside.
It also starts to say, what if they're bringing in all these fullbacks? Do they not like Brady Russell?
I mean, no one's saying he's necessarily going to play fullback, but I mean they're going to be looking for a really interesting prospect to put at fullback. I mean, we drafted one, right? We drafted Robbie Utes and put him there. They're obviously looking to be creative with that spot. Well, there's a bit of a unicorn for you. Maybe they've got some ideas for that, but could equally be pushing for a tight end spot.
True. What are your thoughts about this, Jonathan?
So, like you said, our wide receiver core is pretty packed, pretty stacked, and I also think that we have to trim it like down to 5, maybe 6 players. And in addition, we also have like this unicorn position, like prioritizing the fullback position not every team has. And now we have like Brady Russell and Robbie Utes, which I think is like the goated name of all time. Just imagine Oots running like for a touch and the whole stadium scream like Oots. It's the best. But yeah, so I think we have to like get the right guys for the right position, and maybe like 5 wide receivers will be the best because we have good tight ends. We'll talk about them later, like the Noah Fant situation with like the pretty blown up contract, and Elijah Arroyo right behind him, like going for the number 1 tight end spot. But yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Nice, I like it. Well, by way of news, it's that time of year where we're clutching at straws. Obviously, we've got mandatory minicamp, which has been moved up by a week, which the players seem to be very happy about. And I would be too, if it means that a veteran gets a bit more time off. But we've brought you on as a guest for a very specific reason, Jonathan, because I don't think many people know about sort of the International Fan of the Year scene. So, boom. There you go. NFL International Fan of the Year 2024, Jonathan Ratzel. I just had to put it up there. I do have some slides and some photos as well. But before we get into that, I would love for you to tell us how it all came about. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, so I was like you. I didn't hear about the international fan program of the NFL because it was I'm in the second year, so there was only 1 year before I got to be the international fan of the year, and I didn't hear a single thing about the whole program. And back in November last year, there was the NFL game in Germany in Munich, and I'm a pretty tatted up guy like you two. And so I had like this thing. I want a Seahawks tattoo. I wanted it for so many years, but like other project had to come first. And then my wife was like, "Hey, next week is the NFL Munich game. Let's get a tattoo back in down in Munich." And then we were looking up for tattoo artists, but obviously a week before the game there was no artist like had time for us. But our artist back here in Karlsruhe, where I'm situated, was like, "Yeah, just come in, we'll get it done." And I got the Seahawks logo tattooed on my left leg above my knee, and it was just the Seahawks logo, nothing more. And 3 days after that, I was in Munich on Friday evening, and we were just like crowd hopping all the bars with the NFL teams, like the Patriots bar, the Colts, the Buccaneers, and obviously the Seahawks. And it was the best. It was the best location we had the last years, I think, because it was in the Harbor Cafe and it was obviously great. Yeah, and then there was like a little meet and greet. We didn't know about, but suddenly Trimming Curse was in the building, and I had like a little fanboy moment because I grew up watching Trimming Curse, and I was like, I have to get just an autograph with him from him, and I was queuing up in line, and while I'm standing in the line, I was like, why I don't get a signature on above the Seahawks tattoo I recently got. And yeah, I was standing in front of him and I was like, "Hey, can I get a autograph above my Seahawks tattoo?" And he was like, "Yeah, pretty sure." And then I was like, "Oh, two big guys behind him, his securities, were like looking at me because I'm already at my trousers." And I was like, just a little heads up, I have to pull down my pants. It's on my knee. I have underwear on. Nothing is going to happen because the two Grizzlies behind him were already looking.
Meanwhile, they're like,
was,
"How much does this man love Jermaine Curse? Too much."
and he was fine with it. He found a pretty cool story. He signed above my leg. And just 2 days after we came back from the NFL weekend, I was already at my tattoo artist again, because the autograph was on wrapped up around the tattoo,
Yeah.
and it obviously had to be quick to be tattooed. Yeah, and now back then I had his autograph tattooed, and that was it. But in the evening, I met Jim and Curse. There was like Seahawks media team, and they told me, "Hey, it's such a great story. If you really get this thing tattooed on your leg, there is the international fan program." And that was the first time I heard about it. And they were like, "When you really get this tattooed, you have to talk to us. You have to get into this program. Just sign in." And I got the tattoo, and the evening I got back from my tattoo artist, I was like, why not? Never won anything in my life. Never thought I win this because I read about the international fan program, and they were like, dudes, they they not just love the game I do, they're impacting like a whole community. They're training little kids, they're training flag football teams, they're training with kids with special needs, and I'm just a guy with a tattoo. But I thought, why not? It doesn't cost me anything, so I just signed up, and it was in the middle of November, and I forgot about it. I have to be yeah like 2.5 months, 3 months, and I didn't hear a thing. I forgot about it, all said and done. And then my wife came to me. Hey, our tattoo artist got in a new studio. Do you want to visit him? And I was like, yeah, why not? Happy wife, happy life. Just roll with her. But it was a little bit fishy, but I just thought, yeah, when my wife wants to go there, I'm coming with her.
Go.
And we parked in front of the studio. I opened the door, and then it was like a movie. Bam, the Seahawks mascot running right to me. I see like three guys with cameras, with light, with photographs, and I was like, I blacked out. I totally blacked out. If there wasn't any like photos and videos, I didn't know a thing about the next 5 minutes. And then I got like an iPad with a video message telling me I won the International Fan of the Year. And then I really blacked out. I had to sit down, had to drink a little bit because I was shaking and I didn't even realize what's happening and what was going to happen. I was just like, okay, this isn't real, this isn't real. And even now, I'm like, this can't be real. But yeah, that's like the whole story behind it. I'm just a guy with a tattoo, but
And
I
then
was at the
didn't you get
right
another
time.
tattoo though?
Yes. After the whole story and before I flew to the draft, I got the international fan logo tattooed up on my leg, and the run scheme of the Beastquake run also is like up
Oh,
there because
nice.
it's where it all started and it's like part of my story. And the next thing what's going to happen is there's like a little space left on the leg, and it's for Torrey Horton, my pick I announced back then, and I have
One
like
second. Let me stop you, Jonathan. 1 second.
yes.
Did you hear that, Thomas? Did you hear that, Thomas? Torrey Horton, relevant. One of our fans hates my love for Torrey Horton. I just had to say it. Carry on.
So we'll be showing the video after.
What's wrong about a 6'3" guy running a 4.4 after a knee injury? So
Preach it.
he's my guy. I really, really hope he makes the team, and I think he has a good shot now. First, doing like the punt returns, and maybe he's like our right receiver 3. Maybe he's better than all guys think when he's fully healthy, when he got into the team, when he gets like the chance to prove that he's the guy. And like full circle moment, he now has the number 15 Jermaine Curse had back then.
Yeah.
So I was like, this year I have to get a jersey from Torrey Horton with the 50 years anniversary patch on it. That's my go-to thing this year. And now I have like the draft card where like the lines I had to say are written on it, and this card I want to tattoo besides the Beastquake run scheme.
Oh, dude. Now
That's gonna
that
be
is a
amazing.
heck of a story. I and this is one of those where, from a Seahawks fan point of view, I didn't realize there was an international fan thing, and obviously now other people do. By having you on telling that story, that's amazing, and it really makes me want another Seahawks tattoo. Although I'm not going to ask you to drop trouser on our podcast and show us your Seahawks tattoos.
I have like some short. Let me just stand up. We'll do it like this.
If YouTube takes us down now,
No.
but,
I hope it's like the right way up.
There it
oh,
is.
dude,
Show
that
us
is
your
awesome.
biceps.
And like here is like place for the Torrey Horton thing.
Mate, that is
Amazing.
awesome. That is really cool.
Now let me get my webcam back up there. Yes.
Oh,
So,
well, there
are we
you
still
go.
on YouTube? Are we still
We're
rolling?
still
We're
rolling.
not.
It's
We don't
fine.
have to take it down.
I was going to say that the takedown request might come after this live, but it's fine. Everyone who watches it live knows. Well, why don't we, as you've just told us, obviously, how it happened, you very kindly sent me through a load of pictures and videos to show sort of what happened. And what we'll do, we'll go through a couple of slides and you can just sort of tell us like what's happening here. I mean, so this first one, this is obviously you with the other international fans,
Yes.
I take it,
Yes.
at the draft. And I think that's just a really cool shot of all of you there. And I want, is that 5 German chapters of fans?
Yeah. To be honest, those are all Germans back there, but just 5
wow.
have like their chapter flags with them. But those are just the German ones with their +1s. But yeah, we had like 9 teams, I think, 9 teams and 10 guys, because the Panthers had like 2 international fan of the year, because like they're doing a collaboration with a podcast.
They've got to win something, haven't they? So.
But yeah, those are just the German international fans. We had like the most from one country, because like obviously Germany is like a pretty growing base for the NFL, and yeah, those are some good friends now, because like the guy in the middle, Matze for the Green Bay Packers, he's like a stable. He's 7-8 times a year in Green Bay. He knows everyone.
Wow.
And it was like a home game for him, obviously. And one evening we went to him just through Green Bay to a bar, and it was like 1 kilometer or something, and we had like 2 hours for that trip, because every person knew him. He wanted to talk with everyone, and he's a pretty great guy. And obviously, shout out to my guys from the Lions, Marius and David. Those were the first ones I linked up with, because we both, so Marius and me, we flew from Frankfurt.
Okay.
So we linked up because we had the same flight, and pretty good guy.
That Packers flag needs work, though, doesn't it? That is pretty awful. You should have sort of like shouldered
it's old
away.
school. Just say it's old school. And then on the whole left, it's Niklas and his girlfriend, who also I had to see last week on my wedding. They were invited because we just grew so close. It's a short friendship, but it's a good friendship. And yeah, the whole German crew there on the stage was great.
So there you go. See, NFL creates fans and friends for life.
Yes,
that's what we do. People outside
like I
the
said,
circle.
Football is family, football is friendship, and that's all about.
True. So here we go. This was obviously you at the airport.
Yes, that was in Detroit, so Marius was pretty heavy, and he told me I have to get a picture right here, and he just don't want it to be alone. Big man, just come. Let's get our flags out. Let's do like a little crew picture.
Nice. So was that sort of, you flew from Frankfurt to Detroit, and then Detroit to Wisconsin, like to Green Bay?
Yes.
Yeah. Genau. Here we go. And I wasn't sure in which order these went, but I assumed this one here with you wearing the 88 jersey came before this one where you received your Fan of the Year jersey.
Yes.
Is this this was the hotel?
Yes.
Was it the one on the left? And so at the were you all at the same hotel? Because there is a video that you did send me, but I couldn't squeeze it in, where I believe all the Fan of the Year jerseys were on tables. So obviously you've been and got yours, and that is pretty cool.
The whole lodge, it was called. It was like an old school. How do I name it? It was like
a ski lodge or a hunting lodge.
Yeah, or a hunting lodge. A hunting lodge. It's the best, because there were like stuffed animals everywhere, and you
stuffed polar bear somewhere.
Yeah. And I got a story about the polar bear. Okay. We'll talk later about it. Ryan from the Lions UK was a pretty good guy. We'll talk later about it. But yeah, in the lodge there were not just the international fan. There were like the whole network people for the NFL. There was ESPN was there, and some officials for the NFL. So it was like the whole lodge was just NFL.
And some celebrities. Was this in the lodge?
I didn't know he was a celebrity back then. Some guy told me after that, oh, he's like a comedian. I was like, yeah. He was a pretty funny dude, so I had to get the picture, because we had like a Q&A with Roger Goodell, and he asked Roger Goodell about the tush push. And everyone was like, oh, not again, the tush push. But he asked, and it's the greatest question I've ever heard, if Roger Goodell would allow little people to be behind the center and then be thrown over the O-line. It was so funny. In the moment, the whole room just break out in laughter. It was the funniest thing I've heard.
I think his name
Lovely.
is Brad Williams.
Something like that, yeah.
I think that's his name, Brad Williams. So there's a picture of you with Brad Williams, and then there was a picture of you with the commish, which is
Yes,
pretty cool in itself. Obviously, he gets a lot of booze, but that's a pretty cool picture to have taken.
that was like at the Q&A where some people had the chance to ask questions to Roger Goodell, and then every team got the chance to go up on the stage and take a photo with him. And I was like the only Seahawks fan in the room, so I've got a solo picture with him.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
That's so
That's
good.
that's the type of thing you get framed.
I hope you picked him up.
Yeah,
Like a
Big old
defensive
bear.
lineman.
Little bear hug.
Big bear hug. Pick him up.
And then this is where we get into the draft. So there's going to be a few videos coming up as well. We have I do have the video that you took of the Grey Zabel pick. We've got your pick as well towards the end. But this is obviously going into Lambeau Stadium.
Something like that. Cheese Stadium.
The cheese factory. Okay, here we go. And then so anyone watching this on YouTube, on the left, you can see this. I take it this is when you first got in there. It's when you first got into sort of the draft arena and just having a quick look around. And look how happy you look. I imagine that smile was on your face throughout the whole weekend.
It was, and the whole thing you saw in the video was just the draft theater. It was called. So
Right.
It was like the VIP section. Like on the picture on the left, there are little areas for 15, 16 people for each team. And on the outside, there were like the real VIP section with like big seats, catering, and everything. And we had just those little plastic stools.
I have a feeling on one of the next slides. So this next slide might be the Grey Zabel pick, but one of them has a video where you have the VVIP stuff. And can I just say to everyone watching, Mitch, you are copping some flack tonight, and I'm not sure what you've done, but hashtag Mitch the Cheat is currently in our chat, and I'm not sure why.
It's a fantasy-related thing. I'm copying flack for making some adjustments in our fantasy league, none of which made any difference to any human being. But I'm copying cheat claims.
Live on YouTube.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough. That's my motto.
Okay, so here we go, and this is your now lovely wife, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
There you go, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But yeah, that must have been awesome to be able to take her as well.
Yes. So when we met, she knew about football, but she wasn't a fan or didn't know any rules. She just knew there's like once a time in a year there's a Super Bowl, and that was it. And now she's I don't want to say a bigger fan than me, but she's a big fan. Obviously for the Seahawks.
That was my next question.
But she grew sympathy and a little bit of love for the Eagles too, which is okay because I'm a sucker for good running plays, and Saquon is up there, so I give her that. Yeah. I give her that, and yeah, I already spoke with her about like some NFL championship games for the NFC when there's the opportunity the Eagles play against the Seahawks, and she was like, no problem, we're for the Seahawks. I have to scream a little bit when there's a touchdown for the Eagles, but we're for the Seahawks. So
that's fair. That's okay. See, it's better than my wife. My wife doesn't understand my love for the Seahawks, and I'm trying to get her into the NFL, and she went, I think if I supported anyone in the NFL, it'd be someone that plays in black, because she's an old school emo. And I was like, oh no, that'd be either the Steelers or the Saints.
Or the Commanders with their full black jerseys. Ooh.
I'd prefer that to the Steelers. One of my best friends is a Steelers fan, so not everyone's perfect. But let's flick on. And here we go. And this is where you were for the pick.
So actually, there's a good story. I wasn't there for the pick. That was a video my wife made because I was backstage. Now the story time starts. there is not only the international fan program for the NFL, there's also the fan of the year program just for the US fans.
Mhm.
And the fan of the year, they got announced in like November last year, I think. And they had the chance to be at the Super Bowl this year. And for the Seahawks, it was a lovely lady. Oh, don't get me wrong, she has to be over 80, but she's a lovely woman. And we talked about the Super Bowl and the whole experience being the fan of the year and the international fan of the
Mhm.
year. And she was like, don't slip on stage. And I was like, yeah, it's like 2 days, I won't be on stage. And she was like, no, 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 didn't they tell you about it? And I was like, what you talking about? And she was like, yeah, on the first day in the first round, all the fan of the year from the US, they're on the stage, taking out the jersey to Roger Goodell, because the Roger Goodell don't walk off with the jersey, so he
Yeah.
get like the jersey from a fan. And she was like, you know, I've seen enough. I was at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was my stage. The draft is your stage. You go up on the stage, not me. And I was like, I was tearing up. I was like,
Oh,
this lovely lady just gave me her spot on the stage in the spotlight, and I I teared up. I was crying like a little baby, hugging her. I was like, this will be great. And then, like at pick 15, 14, 15, someone from the NFL came to me and took me backstage, and they were like searching me for mobile phones, because obviously I got
mhm.
to know the pick before anybody else got to know. And then I was in the room where the whole jerseys were printed live when the pick comes in. So there's like just one person in between, and then the jersey room, I would call it.
Yeah.
And they were like, the next pick is the Seahawks. You're excited? And I was like, holy shit, I am excited. What you're talking about? And then we're like, yeah, it's Gray Sable. And it was obvious that it was Gray
Mhm.
Sable. So I think there was like a 95% chance it was Gray Sable. And he didn't attend the draft in Green Bay. So I don't got the opportunity to walk
Oh,
out on stage.
dude.
But I got the opportunity to see the official jersey for the next season with the 50-year anniversary patch.
Oh,
And I was
nice.
like, so you don't need the jersey now? Can I can I take it with me? And they're like, no, 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 we're not allowed to. You have to ask. You have to ask.
Yeah, dude. If you don't ask, you don't get. That's awesome, man.
And
Oh,
then because there was like a 3-minute delay from getting the pick in to
mhm.
announcing it on stage, I was like, yeah, okay, I can go out to the to my area. And it was like, no, you're not allowed, because obviously
Like,
the pick isn't
yeah,
announced.
yeah. Like snipers at the ready, just in
Yeah,
case you
so I
bolt
was
it. Yeah.
just standing there in the jersey room. Everybody else was busy with the next pick, and I was like, "Oh yeah, watching like on the little TV. Oh yeah, crazy!" And then I was allowed to go back to my area.
Oh man, that is a pretty cool story, man. Like just the whole experience. And so this here. So if we're looking on the right, what was this bit here?
This was on the next day. This was on the second day of the draft. This is the room where the whole magic happens, I have to say. Every place, every seat is for one person for one team. And there's this like the room where all the trades happen. So
Right.
one person got a call from and for the Seahawks, the other person like Cleveland Browns, and they on the phone talking to each other. And if they have like the same pick number, then the pick goes through. And they told us that on the draft day one, there was like a trade going to happen, but some team messed up and switched like a late round pick. So the call was like, okay, we swap like our first round picks, and we get your fourth and you get our seventh round pick.
Mhm.
And the other team got like, and we get your third round and the seventh round pick. And then the trade didn't happen because there was too little time to get it fixed. But this was like a behind the scenes, and it was awesome to see how how quick they had to be, because obviously in the later rounds, the time for the pick goes so back. I think it's like 4 minutes for each pick, and it's when there's like when teams don't come to a conclusion which round they want to pick or which pick they want to swap, and it was great behind the scenes.
Dude, that is pretty awesome. So much. Oh, and here we are. So here is Jonathan about to announce the Seahawks pick.
They didn't make much noise for you, did they? The Packers contingent.
It was loud enough, I tell
Was
you that.
Yeah. Nice.
I love this shout out as well, by the way. This is brilliant.
Wasn't it was it immense mental health? What was the shout out? It was, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Very good, mate. Yeah. Man, you lived my dream in that moment.
I was so nervous. I was shaking behind the stage. I was like, I can't walk out there. And then snap, I walked out there, and I had like the speech already on my phone, and I was reading it the few days before the draft over and over. And behind the stage, they were like, "Yeah, we told you had like 60 seconds. When you go over that 60 seconds, it's gonna be a problem. We have to get you off the stage because we're running in a delay. You have to be quick." And I was like, oh fuck. And for being so nervous, for being a German in the US, I think it was pretty okay what I did on stage. And I want to talk a little bit about my speech and my shout out because
We're all about that. We advocate health in general, mental or physical.
I was sitting like a month before the draft here in my home, and I was like, I don't want to be just on the stage, just shouting out like the German Seahawkers or the Seahawks community, or thanking the whole Seahawks family to get this moment. So I was like, I get this one chance, and I have a little bit of impact. So I wanted to be I want to do something that means something, and the last year was pretty rough for me and my family. So obviously, I'm not talking about mental health just because I don't got any other things in my life, but it's pretty important to me. And then I was like, okay, I want to do this. But we're at a party with 200,000 people, and I don't want it to be just on the stage like, yeah, mental health is bad. I wanted to end with a little laugh. And when you're in Green Bay, you have this one chance doing a joke about the Bears, because obviously the Bears and the Packers hate each other, but let's be honest, everybody makes a little bit fun of the Bears. So I was like, okay, obviously either the Cowboys or the Bears, so it's the Bears. And I was sure about this joke, and I would do it again. And the moment on the stage, I was feeling it. I was like, yeah. And the Green Bay people, they were so loud. It was freaking loud, with like 200,000 people cheering for you and booing the Bears. It was amazing. And after I announced the pick and I got off stage, there were like people and fans from the Packers, from the Jaguars, shaking my hands, telling me, thank you so much for raising awareness for this mental health condition or for this disease. And I was like, yo, it came from my heart. It was nothing special. And the Jaguars fan was like crying and telling me that his best friend took his life like 2 weeks before the draft because of depression.
Dude.
And I was like, okay, it was meant to be. It was the right thing. And in my opinion, that was it. I had a blast. I had a message, and the feedback was great. Even the Bears fans were like joking, yeah, you're right. And as
As
you
far as
can
we're going,
imagine.
being a Bears fan isn't an illness; it's a choice.
Yes, yes.
It's the
And
wrong
the
choice.
Bears fans also were like shit talking to Green Bay. So and it's normal in the US, and like for us, it's normal. When I work with a colleague who's a 49ers fan,
Oh,
obviously I made the right decision. He made the wrong decision, but we all love the same sports, so there's no bad blood or something. And this I it were like 4 words, especially the Bears fans. I said nothing more. It was a joke. Everything was fine. The US people were fine with it. Everything was great. And then I looked at my smartphone because the Seahawks Germany posted a video of my speech, the NFL Germany, and
gone
like
viral.
yeah, and a German TV channel posted it. And in the comments, the people, the Germans, I have to say, the Germans were like freaking out. Uh, he makes fun of all people with depressions. How can he say? How can what did they say? How can he make fun of people with this disease? Such an important theme, and he rub dirt over it.
Surely
Typical
they
Germans.
missed the whole point that you used the
Yes.
platform you had
Yes.
to
Yes.
shout out about it. Ridiculous. Anyway, I do think before we get on to you review the 2025. Now, I think this was you at the air. Obviously, this was you whilst there, but then you got to meet Mr. Red Zone himself,
Yes.
Scott Hansen,
That was
and
Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen. How awesome's that?
And it
Right.
was at the airport on my way back to Germany. I didn't think I got to meet anyone. And my wife went to the bathroom, and I was just standing there at the lobby of the airport. And I was like, is that Scott Hansen? But with the cap on, he had a coffee in his hand. And I was like standing there 2-3 minutes. Is that fucking Scott Hansen? He can't be. And then behind him, I saw Rich Eisen sitting at the window, and I was like, and that's Rich Eisen. And then my wife came back on. She got to know football from and with Scott Hansen, and she looked. She doesn't even look at me. She goes, "That's Scott Hansen." And then we went to him, and I have to tell you, he is awesome. He is as friendly and as cool as he looks at the picture.
Yeah.
He was so fun. He wanted to know so much about us, why we're from Germany in Green Bay, and oh wow! And then he remembered me in my speech. Oh, you were on stage talking about mental health. He was a great guy. Rich Eisen was pretty tired. He was just okay. We take a picture, but I want to sleep a little bit. But Scott Hansen is a great dude.
Oh, dude, I saw that on your social media, and I thought that is pretty awesome. And Scott Hansen just looks like he's just happy to take the photo with anyone. Then I believe this is all of you guys. Is this on your way out?
That has to be on the third day of the draft, but those are all the international fans.
Wow, and there are some UK fans there. Like, nice to see. I'm going to have to dissect this and find out who's from where. But that is, see, as an international fan, that is what you want to see: football reaching wherever it can and bringing everyone together at the draft. That's brilliant. I do think I have. Oh, there you go. There you are with your draft card. And this video I had to keep in. So if anyone who's not watching, this is Jonathan having the time of his life. There you go. I wish I'd kept the volume on, but I didn't want to embarrass you anymore. So there you go. That was your draft experience. It looks and sounds amazing, dude. I genuinely can't get over it. I mean, obviously being at the draft, they're calling out Torrey Horton and, nearly presenting Grace Abel with his jersey. You've now seen what the future of the Seahawks organization is going to look like. What are your thoughts on the 2025 Seahawks?
I'm excited. I'm pretty excited. Just give me 1 second. Woo! Obviously, there are like some things like, okay, not everyone we drafted is healthy enough, or are they the right fit for our team? But I was like, hey, we got Jalen Milrow in the 3rd round, who was maybe going to be a 1st or a 2nd round pick. We got great athletes, and we got Torrey Horton, Mitch.
Okay.
So I'm excited for the new season. I'm excited to see what Sam Darnold has to give the team and what Sam Darnold can do with our offense. But I'm also excited that we have Jalen Milrow behind him, challenging him. And I think with the contract we gave Sam Darnold, with the potential 1 year out, we got someone behind him who's maybe ready to take a spot, who is maybe ready to lead this offense. And I think the last time we got such an athletic QB, we had a pretty good team.
We certainly did. I like it. Well, that brings us very nicely. Let me just share my screen here into this. So let's have a look at the German Seahawks roster builder. Now, if no one's seen this, Mitch and I used this last year, and it was an awesome tool. Now, we've let lots of people all over the Seahawks podcast sphere know about this tool. We enjoyed using it so much last year that as soon as Jonas told us that it was being rehashed and redone this year, we wanted to use it. And what better time to use it than with a German Seahawker on the pod? There you go. And there's no pressure here, Jonathan. You can pick who you favor. It's absolutely fine. Just justify it like Hell Tools and everyone else in the comments. So if you want to have a look at this roster builder, the link is in the YouTube description below. You can click on it. There's an option there for English and German, which is fantastic. And you will start here. So you get to build your own Seahawks roster. So have you played with this yet, Jonathan?
No, it's the first time I am going to see it, but we'll just roll with it. Let's see
So
how it
you
goes.
start with your offense. So obviously, it's a 53-man roster. You have to build it how you want. So you start with your QBs. Are we going to carry 3 QBs or 2?
Yes, we're going to carry 3 QBs.
And that's going to be
In that order.
Darnold, Jalen Milrow, Drew Lock.
Yes.
And then if we look at the, it's gone straight onto that. So let's click on the wide receivers. So what wide receivers? So just so you know, on here at the moment, we've got JSN, Cooper Kupp, MVS, Jake Bobo, Steven Sims, Derek Young, Cody White, Ricky White III, Nate McCollum. He's not there anymore, but it doesn't matter. And then John Reese Plumlee, Torrey Horton, Foster Jr., and Tyrone. Brilliant. I should probably put my glasses on for this because there is smaller writing than I'm used to. There we go. So tell us, how many wide receivers are we keeping on the active roster?
4 or 5. So Chase and Cooper Kupp and MVS are all set.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Torrey Horton is set.
Yeah.
And then it's Jake Bobo. And I love this guy, but it's like his 3rd season, I think.
3rd season with the Seahawks.
And it's the 3rd season. I'm like, yeah, he gets like the training camp hype in the OTAs, all these little clips, and then it comes the season and nothing happens.
But we can always go back to this, so you can fill out the majority of your roster, and if we have a couple of spaces left, we can go back and fill other people out. Do you want to do that instead?
Yes.
Right. So on to the running backs. So you've got K9, Charbonnet, Martinez, McIntosh, Halani, and then Jacardia White. All right. So who do you think we're taking? How many do you think we're carrying?
3. Kenneth Walker, okay. Charbonnet, and McIntosh, I think. And Martinez.
We can always come back to it.
Yeah.
I actually fully agree with this, but that is. I think if we carry 4, Martinez is the one on the bubble for me. Genuinely, I hope we do, but I think you've nailed that, Jonathan.
Thank you.
There we go. On to tight end then. Noah Fant, AJ Barner, Elijah Arroyo, Eric Sober, Nick Callerup, and Marshall Lang are all there. How many are we carrying?
So Fant and Arroyo are set, but are we going with just those two? Maybe Barner, but
Jonas has just piped up and said currently there is no option to pick a fullback, so you'll have to pick a tight end as your fullback essentially.
Okay,
but I don't think Robbie Oots is on here, right? So
that's the whole thing I was thinking about with Brady Russell and Robbie Oots as potential fullbacks. So when we don't get those two in the fullback position, can we just imagine those two being there?
We can imagine them if you want to put. So would you put Utz and Russell there, and then so if we say for argument's sake, Callerup and Lang are Utz and Russell. Excellent. Yes. Okay. And the O line. So. Quickly to run through for anyone listening, that is. So you've got Oluolu, you've got Zabel, Cross, Sundell, Haynes. Then you've got Lucas, Marangis, Bradford, Gerald, Jones, Amari Kite. You've got Cable Dew. You've got Salah Lau. I don't even know what that is. Mason Richmond and Satola Mayer. I need to clean my glasses. That's what I need to do.
Did I miss something about Charles Cross?
Nope, Cross was there.
Okay, so then let's go from left to right. Charles Cross, left tackle. Gray Sable on left guard. Olu center. Christian Haynes guard. And Abram Lucas tackle. So that's like the starting line. Mm-hmm. So for backups. Josh Jones and Michael Jarrell as tackle backups. How many guys we got now? 10, 14?
Yeah, 21.
Okay, so then Sundell as backup for center.
Yeah, Sundell, I think. This is a really tough room to pick, honestly, because we've drafted so many players. It's like 3 draft picks a year for the last 3 years, right? So there's lots of people here that we've invested draft capital into.
So I think Satao Laumea has to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need another backup for guard.
I think Cabeldu's the guy that they're really keen on for the scheme as well. I think they rated him really highly. It's hard to imagine Cabeldu not making it.
Let's go with him, and I think then our O-line is set.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Let's hit on the defense, starting at linebacker. So linebackers on this this simulator, you've got Jones, Knight, Mafe, Hall, Nwosu, O'Connell, Smith, Thomas, O'Toole, Josh Ross, Jamie Sheriff, Jared Ivey. You've got Derek Jackson, Seth Coleman, and Jalen Gaines. I think it says a lot when the players haven't even got photos next to them.
So, Ernest Jones, Wosu, Mafe.
Wosu, Mafe.
Derek Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Half head, half neck.
Yep.
Josh Ross. What we do with Josh Ross?
Tyrese Knight as well is still there.
Yeah. First of all, let's do the cornerbacks and
let's
come
go.
back
Okay.
To linebackers.
Not a fan. Are you not a fan of Tyrese Knight? You can
not
if
as big
needs
as
be.
a fan, and 4 linebackers, and
But they're not all inside linebackers.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at cornerbacks, then you've got Witherspoon, you've got Woolen, you've got Joe Pritchett, JT Woods, you've got Williams, Waxter, John Charles, Tyler Hall, and Zy Alexander.
so obviously we go with Witherspoon, Woolen, obviously. We are going with Josh Joby.
Yeah.
Are we going with? Yeah, we're going with Pritchett.
You're going with Nehemiah Pritchett?
Yes. What are your thoughts about John Charles?
He's been showing out at OTAs, but I think it all matters when they put the pads on.
I think this cornerback room is lacking NFL snaps. I think when it comes down to taking a fifth or sixth player, I think they'll value experience in the league. But then, if a good free agent, but I was about to say, if a good free agent becomes available for the right money, then you're first on the chopping block, right? So, I think Zy Alexander's a good shoe in for this roster. But then Brian was saying that he thinks Waxter's a really good outside shot for this roster too. So this is so open, this cornerback room.
Yeah.
And then when we think about what Mike McDonald can do with all those defensive backs, it's not like they're set with their position. He likes to shift them around, showing like different perspectives.
Well, do you want to see who's in the safety room?
Yeah.
We can always go back. Julian Love, Emanori, Bryant, D'Anthony Bell, Jarek Reed II, AJ Finley, and Ty Okada.
Give me Bryant, give me Love. Those are set. Obviously, Nick Emanori is set.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jarek Reed is set.
I like that. I love a bit Jarek Reed II.
And then let's go to the line and let's see how many spots we have left when we're.
You've got a lot. I'm going to tell you that you're on 36 out of 53 at the moment. So who's going? So you've got Williams, Murphy, Reed, Lawrence, Jonathan Hankins. You've got Brandon Peely. You've got Mike Morris, Quentin Bahana, J.R. Singleton, Riley Mills, Bubba Thomas, and Campbell. So Antoine Campbell.
So Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy are set.
Mm-hmm.
Teron Reed is set, and Lawrence, obviously. I'm pretty excited for Lawrence.
Yeah.
I think for an older guy, he has something to show, and I think he was a pretty good addition to our roster. So we got Jonathan Hankins as a backup nose tackle.
Now, they've been really, really high on Riley Mills throughout OTAs. Even though he's not participating, he is champing at the bit to get there. AD,
I think we have to take him. I think we have to take Mills.
Even if he starts the season on the pup.
Yeah, he'll start on the pup, so we don't need to waste a spot on him. But I think whoever you take instead of him is probably a cut candidate once he's removed off the pup.
I was thinking Mike Morris, maybe.
I think that's the way it's going to go. I think Mike Morris will start the season on the roster, but I think as soon as Mills can come off the pup, if Morris hasn't shown out by that point, that's end of the road.
But is he on the pup or is he now just because?
Let's just very quickly before we get too far down. We've obviously got punter,
specialist,
kicker,
or specialist,
long snapper. There we go. So we'll go back. So you've got your 45 out of 53. You've got 8 spots left.
let's go back to cornerback, please.
Well, this is like countdown. So I'll take a vowel, please. Have a cornerback, please. Safety, please.
Can we put Cy Alexander in it and just think that it's Jair Alexander?
Yes, we can. Done.
Because I'm with you that he can be a bad apple in the locker room, but he has the experience in the NFL. When he's healthy, he's a top cornerback, and we have the financial space, the cap space to sign him. So it would be an obvious pick. So
I'm not going to fight that.
just imagine it's Jair Alexander. Then our cornerback room is pretty good.
And then is there any other positions? So you're at 46. So you've only got 4 linebackers at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got 4 safeties. If we go on to the offense, you're carrying 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs, technically 2 tight ends and 2 fullbacks, 10 O-line. I'll be honest, for me, based on the scheme we're going to be running,
it's running back and tight end.
I think Martinez, I think it's going to be 4 running backs. So Martinez, and then at tight end, I think AJ Barner's coming back.
Then it's Barner for me.
And then you've still got 5. Yeah, you've got 5 spots left.
Then we go to wide receiver. We get our 5th wide receiver. Then we go Jake Bobo. It has to be.
And then you've got to look at who is going to do kick returns. Steven Sims is taking them at the moment. We know that Cody White or Ricky White III can do it. Torrey Horton. But then do you want to risk having someone like Torrey Horton taking kick returns?
Yes.
Torrey Horton or McIntosh, maybe as a kick returner. Because when I'm pretty high on Torrey Horton. And not because he was my pick and not because Mitch is pretty high on him.
Yeah.
But I think he's a pretty exciting athlete. And when he's doing like the punt returns and playing wide receiver, I think doing also the kick returns is a little bit too much work in his first year in the NFL.
I think if he plays second fiddle to MVS in that field stretching wide receiver role, I think if he's sharing snaps there, having a guy on the roster that returned a punt for a touchdown every season in college and not using him for that is crazy. Like you have to do it. But if he completely removes MVS as that starting field stretcher, at that point, not worth the risk. So as long as
I'm fully with you.
I think that's the no-brainer there.
So
I'm looking for a 5th running back because, and this is quite a hot take, maybe Kenneth Walker will get traded. I love the way Kenneth Walker plays. I love it. But when was the last season Kenneth Walker played a full season and didn't get injured?
Never.
And with things play right, and maybe Zach Charbonnet plays as good as he played last year when Kenneth Walker was injured, maybe we trade him. Zach Charbonnet is going to be on number 1 running back.
Which means Kenny McIntosh is RB2. My guy.
So we need another running back to back the running back room up when there's like a trade. So I think we need.
Don't sleep on Helani. Ashton Genty was his backup.
I was preparing and I was going to say let's just go for Nick Chubb, just giving a 1-year deal. And
supposedly the Texans are looking at him.
Yes.
Yeah,
because they need him with Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce.
Yes, then we go with Helani. But Nick Chubb would be so good when we get good blocking in the O-line, and
Yeah, but
he's old.
you're worried about Ken Walker being injured all the time. Nick Chubb hasn't been the most durable over the
But-
last few years.
But when we got like Nick Chubb, who's just the thunder, just running down the brick walls, and then Zach Charbonnet with a little touch to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think
I can see it.
we're
Right,
pretty
you've got
set.
three more, Jonathan. Come on.
And
What are
we
we
have
doing?
to go back to the defense, and then we just
Yeah, what did we do at linebacker? Yeah, we still need to put a linebacker in there or two.
Tyrese Knight or Drake Thomas? What are
No, it's
your
Tyrese Knight.
thoughts?
Tyrese Knight all over.
Has to be
He
Tyrese
was
Knight.
he was the first proper Mike McDonald pick, to the point where John Schneider said, "Who do you want here?" And he said Tyrese Knight. He excelled in this system last year, and I think he's only going to get better playing next to Ernest Jones.
So,
It's then a matter of
let's go to the safeties and fill the one safety spot up.
The Anthony Bell, special teams
OTA.
beast. Yeah,
Tyre
good
Carter
OTA,
hits like a
special
tank.
teams beast. Yeah, Tyre Carter as well.
It's not Finlay for me. That's sure. But then it's Bell.
It's Anthony Bell.
He's going to be fun on special teams.
And then you have one more slot. Do you look to add Mike Morris? Do you go for another linebacker?
I think technically we've got two spots because Riley Mills will start on the pup list, so you almost get a free pick there.
Two spots. Then we'll put Riley Mills on the pup list. Does that
Then
mean you want
it's
to?
Mike Morris? Yes.
There you go. That was a nice easy sub in. And then one more.
Can we go back to the offense?
We certainly can.
I was thinking just another O-liner because you can't have enough O-line help.
You can when it's Bradford.
Then you've got Mason Richmond.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I mean, that's the potential swing tackle. I think one of him or Jarrell will probably take that swing tackle role in the future.
Yeah,
but
let's just.
we're really high on him.
Ben has just pointed out we've only got 21 players on defense, as opposed to 28 on offense.
But we got the right players.
This is your team build, mate. You do what you want.
But he's right. But
I'll be honest with you. If I look at that, I think you've got, because if you say we're going to trade Walker, we're essentially going to be one running back down there anyway. So
but it looks stupid when Walker is not in my starting running back room when he's available, so he has to be there. Then let's take out.
I think you can take out Halani just for the sake of the squad as it is now. And then obviously you've got your 3 tight ends, 2 fullbacks if you want to run with 2 fullbacks, or if they're going to run with 1. Which means that you've got 2 spots left on the defense, because I don't think offensively, I mean, you've got, so Jones is essentially a swing tackle. You've got Mike Jarrell, who I think they're going to have as some sort of swing tackle as well. Sundell, who can cover all across. Satawa Lamea, who has been training all off-season with Abe Lucas, so they're going to try and look to squeeze him in there. And then Cable Jew, who is just a very athletic guard who will fit into this scheme perfectly. So all the bases are covered there, unless you want to carry one extra one. And someone like Mason Richmond could possibly play guard or tackle for you.
I think the O-line is. I want to trim the O-line so bad to 8 people, but our O-line was so bad.
But it's young and it's having better coaching. So always remember that. It's not just down to the players. Sometimes you can have all the potential, but if you've not got the coaches there to realize that potential, you're always going to look flat. If the scheme's not right, if you're not being trained properly, you're not going to reach the heights that you should do.
And it looks so bad with the 5 tight ends, but 2 fullbacks in there. And My stomach would hurt when there are just two tight ends with Noah Fant and Elijah Arroyo without AJ Barner as a backup.
I'm going to drop this bomb. I think that they may look to trade Fant, which means we'd have Arroyo, Barner, and then we'd have either Sobert or you'd have Brady Russell, who'd move back to tight end and keep Robbie Utes at fullback. But then, yeah, you've got 2 spots left. What are we thinking?
We have to go to defense, and we have to go for the line. Six linemen are.
There's Quinton Bahana there who backs up the tackle and nose tackle position. I think that might be a shout.
Yes, I'm with you. Yeah,
Bahana.
we'll take him.
I
and Riley Mills, but when he's on the pup list, we'll take him.
I think this is the position, linebacker, that you need to look at. Because when you look at inside linebacker, you've only got 2 that are there at the moment. Because Nwosu, Mafe, and Hall are all outside linebackers who can rush the passer. And if you're going to look at anything else, you need to look
rolling with Pat O'Connell or with Derek Jackson. Or Tyreek Smith.
And you've got Jamie Sheriff, Jared Ivey, and Connor O'Toole, who Mitch is very high on Connor O'Toole. We did a whole segment on a pod about it.
I mean, O'Toole's another outside guy, really. Jamie Sheriff, who they've used on the edge last preseason, has been working inside this year. So it looks like they're trying to turn him into a bit of a Swiss Army knife to do multiple roles. Whether he's capable of that at the moment, I don't know. And I think Imanor is going to play in and around the box a lot. They'll show 3 safety looks and he'll back up the box as well. So we probably only need the 3 inside linebackers. But there's not a lot of options there. I still think we might trade for one. I think the next inside linebacker is not on the roster right now, but maybe wishful thinking.
Let me just time
Drake Thomas is probably the guy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Do you think
Drake Thomas? Yeah, I think that's the obvious shout. Pat O'Connell's hung around for what seems to be forever. And you have to expect him to be marginally better than last year, and he nearly made it last year. So I think he's going to run that right the way up to the deadline, but I think he may well be practice squad.
Right.
So with that,
there we go.
Signed and sealed. It's official.
This is it. Personalize this roster. Oh, that's what I can actually spell. Bosh. So Jonathan Ratzel's Seahawks roster prediction for 2025. Shall we recap it quickly? In the quarterback room, you've got Sam Darnold, Jalen Milroe, Drew Lock. At running back, Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh, and Damian Martinez. 5 wide receivers in JSN, Cup, MVS, Torrey Horton, and Jake Bobo. Tight end, we're carrying, in inverted commas, 5, but there's 2 fullbacks. Noah Fant, Arroyo, Barner, and then fullbacks. We're going to have Brady Russell and we're going to have Robbie Utes. Offensive line, you've got Charles Cross, Gray Zabel, Olu. You've got Christian Haynes, Abe Lucas, Josh Jones, Mike Jarrell, Jalen Sundell, Satawa Lamea, and Bryce Cabledew, however you pronounce that. And that is for the offense. Defense, we're carrying 6 linebackers in Ernest Jones IV, Chenna Nwosu, Boyan Mafe, Derek Hall, Tyrese Knight, and Drake Thomas. 5 cornerbacks in Witherspoon, Woolen, Joby, Pritchett, Zay Alexander. 5 safeties in Kobe Bryant, Julian Love, Nick Emanwari, Jerick Reed II, DeAnthony Bell, and then 7 defensive linemen in Big Cat, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, Tank Lawrence, Jonathan Hankins, Mike Morris, and Quentin Bohanna. And special teams, kicker Mike Myers, punter Michael Big Dixon Energy, and then long snapper Chris Stoll. Let us publish that. There we go. And what we'll do, if I will save that and I will pop that on our socials as well. So for anyone who wants to use that, but like I said, you can have a play around with that as much as you want. That is going to be in the description below. That is always a really fun exercise. And Jonathan, you were the first person of 2025 to do that with us. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed that.
It's great.
But I mean, with that, I just want to obviously sign off by saying thank you so much, Jonathan. Have you had a good time on the pod?
It was a great time. It was great to talk about my experience, how I got to be the International Fan of the Year, how it was in Green Bay. Now just chatting with you guys, what we're thinking the team will look next year. And yeah, I have to say to all the Seahawks fans out there, try to be the next International Fan of the Year. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. I'm going to be it until maybe February, around the next Super Bowl, and then it's your chance. So I'm hoping that everyone got a little glimpse of what's like to be the International Fan of the Year. It's great to connect with other German international fans. It's great to connect with international fans from the UK. There was like the international fan for the Eagles. He was like a great dude. The Jaguars guys were great. So it's a great experience, and I'm hoping for everyone that they have the luck I had.
Dude, we appreciate you coming on. I know everyone that's been in the comments, because I've just seen them buzzing constantly, and Mitch has been manning those. I think everyone's appreciated the insight as well. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's tuned in, whether you've been with us all the way through, or like Herbicide, you tipped in right at the end. If you are if you are new to the show, by all means, you can like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It really helps us out with our reach. If you'd like to appear on the show, slide into our DMs. Mitch and I are always happy to speak to Seahawks fans from anywhere. And if you want to speak to other Seahawks fans from anywhere around the globe, join the Discord. It's free. The link's down below. The master of the Discord is, I hope I'm pointing the right way this time, because Jonas said I was pointing the wrong way. There you go. There he is. Mitch is a master of the Discord. We've got Seahawks fans from all over the place, and we're still getting more in there. The community is growing, and we're just talking Hawks all the time. And sometimes we have some members of the Discord who just voice every single concern they have about the fantasy football GM constantly, like they do in the comments in this as well.
I'm joining.
Yeah, Mitch just getting targeted. That's all it is.
Flaming myself now.
But I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched. I'm pretty sure as well, if you do want to join the Discord, Mitch might put the link in the comments wherever they are on this video. You can catch us on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe to this. You can catch us on all your favorite podcasting apps. Follow us on social media. Links are all below, but it's at 12 Talk Pod on pretty much everything. And we always like to sign off with, firstly, massive thank you to Jonathan. I can't wait. Hopefully we'll have you back on here as well. And you can have a little round table with some other fans and ourselves. But we like to sign off with a Go Hawks. Will you join us with a Go Hawks?
No question. Absolutely.
Excellent. So I'll count us down on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.